evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Today, for Deck Profile Madness, we are going back to Zoodiac's, or at least, you know, something that actually plays Zoodiac. This could arguably be hands down the best Zoodiac variant, mainly because when the opponent dimensional barriers you, you still have other options, and the deck just plays so smoothly. You can out back row extremely easily inside of this deck. I really like Zoodiac Fire Fist, and I might actually play it for the rest of the format. For the people that do like the deck profile madness, go ahead and give this video a like and check out the other deck profiles we have done with the new set. There are so many. Let's get into the deck profile. We run, for the Zoodiacs, we run 3 copies of Zoodiac Rapier. Basically, if it's normal summon, we have to send a Zoodiac card from our decks to the graveyard. But most important effect is if it's under an XC material monster of a Beast Warrior type monster, we get it gains the effect of detaching one material to special summon a Zoodiac Rapier from our deck. So it's so many crazy combos you can loop with this card. You basically just loop the Rapier until you get 2 additional Rapiers on your side of the field, and then you can make a rank 4. It's essentially a really good card for the deck. Next, we run 1 copy of Zoodiac Whiptail. First of all, it's a hand trap and it's a monster effect trap thing. Once per turn, it can attach itself to a Beast Warrior. Yeah, once per turn during either player's turn, it can attach itself to a Beast Warrior Exceed monster, and then a Beast Warrior Exceed monster gains this following effect. If it battles a monster, the monster is banished after Damage Cow. So it's just really good for getting over a lot of threats that, you know, that are problematic for the opponent. And then also it's a Zoodiac name. So for the people that don't know, Zoodiacs are 1-card Exceeds. They basically are an engine themselves, and they start a really nasty combos just by themselves. You just have to complement them with other cards. Now, for the Fire Fist counterparts, we're going to run 3 copies of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit. Essentially, when this card is normal summon, we get to select one level 3 Beast Warrior Fire monster in our graveyard and special summon it to our side of the field. For the rest of the turn, we cannot special summon, or we cannot synchro summon, or it cannot be used for a synchro summon. I apologize. Unless it's for a Fire Beast Warrior type monster. That really doesn't matter because we can still Exceed summon with it. We can still make Invoker. But then even more importantly, we can make cards like Horse Prince and other stuff with it if our opponent does decide to debarrier. So that's practically our Terra Top engine. Next is 3 copies of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Leopard. We contribute, when it's normal summon, we contribute 1 Fire Fist monster on our side of the field to set 1 fire formation from our deck to our side of the field. So this is Tenki fodder, Gyoko fodder. It also is fodder for the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit, and it gets like all of our fire formation cards to the field. Next is 3 copies of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Rooster. When this card is special summon, we get to add 1 Fire Fist monster from our deck to our hand. That is awesome for adding back Spirit, adding Bear, adding Leopard. Also, we can send 1 fire formation on the field, or face up on our side of the field, to set another fire formation from our deck to our side of the field. This card is pivotal because not only does it provide us a monster to special summon with Horse Prince, it adds as a Fire Fist monster, which allows us to maintain some type of advantage, and it cycles through our fire formations. 2 copies of Cold Soldier Wolfbark. Instant rank 4s is just really easy, especially since we only run 3 targets for it, but the targets are just so easy to get into, it's like free. 1 copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear. If our opponent has the Drancia combo, we can actually force them to get rid of the bear, because we'll just like Tenki into our real target, we'll summon the bear, and now they have to make a decision on the bear. They can either strike it, they can Drancia it, but that's fine. Then we'll activate Tentu and just go into our combos, depending on what they have. So bear really forces them to do certain things. The next thing is 1 copy of Brotherhood of Fire Fist Gorilla, which essentially does the exact same thing. We can summon the bear, which is typically stronger than opponent's Drancia. We can destroy their back row with the Gorilla and then attack into the Drancia, forcing them to use its effect to destroy the Gorilla, and then main phase 2 go into our place. Next is 1 copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Buffalo. This card is awesome. Not only does he provide a rank 4 body, he allows us to get rid of dead Brotherhood cards in our hand, or dead fire formations on the field or in the hand, for a free level 4 monster. To finish up monsters, we run 2 copies of Maxi because drawing is always good. And if our opponent's going to allow us to draw as many cards as possible, as long as they don't deck us out, we'll be perfectly fine. That's it for monsters. That puts us at 20. For spells, we run 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki. Just about every single monster in this deck, for the exception of Maxi, is searchable via throughout Tenki. 3 copies of Fire Formation Tensu. This is what makes the deck tick. So basically, no matter what, I'll always have two plays. I can start off by putting Fire Fist cards in my graveyard by normal summoning the Leopard. So Leopard gets the 10-2, and then I can go into my Zoodiac play to summon the Rap Tier. Ultimately, Broad Bull can search the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit, so for next turn I can actually summon the Spirit and just go off. This deck is just awesome at being able to set up so many combos, and Tensu does help us by giving us a second summon we want to see it as possible, and we actually do use our Fire Formation cards to send to the graveyard, so it's very viable. This is the card that actually makes Fire Fist click in this format. It's Fire Formation Gyoko. Now Gyoko is a searchable Night Beam-like card. We activate this card by targeting one set card our opponent controls. Our opponent cannot activate that card as long as this card remains face up on the field. So they either have to preemptively debarrier us or lose the debarrier to the Gyoko. More often than not, debarrier is the only trainable trap. So if we Gyoko their debarrier, then great, they can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! And if they see us set the Gyoko with a Fire Formation card, they have to debarrier us and call Exceed or Synchro. Once they call Exceed or Synchro, you just do the opposite and go off. So Gyoko is really, really, really good in this format, and Fire Fist really help you bring that out inside of this deck. Dead Gyokos can always be pitched for our Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Buffalo. Next, we're going to run 2 copies of Zoodiac Barrage. What this card does is destroy one card we control, one face-up card we control to special summon one Zoodiac from our deck to our side of the field. We run 4 targets. Ideally, you want to get to the Momorat, so Barrage is really just there just to tutor us into the Momorat. But most importantly, this card actually could get rid of dead Fire Formation, so it's a pretty decent card. And then 1 copy of Yoko. What Yoko does is allow us to discard one Beast Warrior monster to target one face-up card on the field and destroy it. So this also triggers or forces the opponent to use Drancia to stop cards like this, and then we can go off with our normal combo. It's also it's a searchable Fire Formation card, so this deck is just awesome. So yes, you do lose the 1 card Terra Top. Hypothetically, you could drop I don't know, maybe a Rooster, a Wolf Bark, and maybe something else if you really wanted to run the Terra Top engine, but I just didn't see it as a point as, you know, the Fire Fist engine does the exact same thing without being debarriered or without bricking or anything. That's it for spells. For traps, we run 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier because this card still wins games. Just activate it and declare the appropriate card and you're gonna win the game. 3 copies of Solemn Strike. This card, another one of the great cards that prevents monster effects from happening. It also prevents pin summons, it stops synchro summons, exceed summons. It's just a really good card this format. 1 copy of Solemn Warning because it's better than Strike, and unfortunately it's limited to 1. And then the Vanity's Emptiness when we want to prevent the opponent from special summoning. Ideally, this is probably the best deck to run Vanity's Emptiness in because we can activate our Fire Formations. All of our spells and traps are continuous. So we can activate them freely without losing Vanity's Emptiness. And when we want to lose it, we'll activate like Bear, Rooster, or Gorilla's Effect to destroy an opponent's card, and then our Vanity's Emptiness leaves so we can continue to special summon. That's it for traps at 8. That puts our main deck at 40. Now for the extra deck. Synchros, we run 2 copies of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince. When this card is synchro summoned, we have the special summon one level 3 fire monster from our deck. So we can't synchro summon again with it, but it doesn't matter. We'll normally go ahead and summon Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Rooster, and then if we already have a level 3 monster, we'll use that to make the Invoker, and we'll go into our Zoodiac plays. Like I'm telling you, this deck is nasty when it comes to stuff like that. We run 2 copies of Zoodiac Trident. A lot of the Zoodiac variants run 1 Trident. Well, we run 2 Broad Bull because it's really good in this deck. We can actually exceed summon to it and start searching whatever we need. And Trident is to complement those 2 Broad Bulls. The Broad Bull, like I said, we can use it the regular way just by overlaying the Momorat, or we can actually exceed summon to it to search whatever we want with 2 level 4 Beast Warrior monsters. So basically any of our 4s. 1 copy of Zoodiac Barbo, or Borbo. Basically, what you do is you summon the Momorat, you make the Borbo, and then you exceed summon into the Broad Bull, Target Motor. Look, I'm not going to tell you guys how to play it, but if you exceed summon again, and now since the Rat Pier is under a Borbo or one of your exceed monsters, you can detach the Borbo and then special summon another Rat Pier from your deck. Next is 1 copy of Tiger Mortar. Basically, this card is essential for when we want to get Broad Bull's both effects. So we'll normal summon the Momorat, we'll make the Broad Bull, and then, or I'm sorry, the Barbo, we'll make the Broad Bull, and then we'll detach the Barbo to special summon, and then we'll detach again the Search. Then we can make Tiger Mortar to equip Rapier, and then we'll special summon again. So it essentially gets into our combo. You just gotta remember that your Trident will be 0 attack, but it doesn't really matter for us because we'll have a board. Like, this isn't the only thing for our deck to play. That's it for the Zoos. 1 copy of Castell for removal. This easily the best card. You can make it with the Zoodiac cards and it'll gain the effects. So that's freaking awesome. Also, it sets fire formations. It just has so many applications in this deck. It's not even really to say, but we only need 1. Actually, you could play 2. This is a 14 card extra deck. I'm letting you guys decide the 14th card or the 15th card. 2 copies of Emerald so we can loop the Rapiers. We can loop our extra deck cards. It's just a really good card for this format. To be honest with you guys, I think if the ban list drops, this will get banned. Legitimately. And it sucks to see this banned. It's one of my favorite cards, but whatever. Konami just doesn't like hitting the problem. 1 copy of the Phantom Knight's Breaksword. This is when we want to make a rank 3 when it debarriers for synchros and we just want to break a card. And then the Invoker, because this deck is still really good at making that Invoker play. That's it for Xyz. Like I said, you guys can play the 15th card. My suggestion, it could be another Tiger King. It could be Diamond Direwolf. It could be another Zoodiac monster if you guys want to get special, but it's whatever you guys want to play. For our extra deck, we run 3 copies of Artifact Lancia. I feel like if you're playing a Zoo variant, Infernoid is probably your toughest matchup other than a mirror match, just because they can activate their Infernoids to banish your Zoo cards. So, you know, Artifact Lancia prevents them from playing for 1 turn. That's essentially 1 turn that we have to win the game. So we Lancium them on their turn, they can't play, then we go off and we win because we OTK. 2 copies of Lava Golem. Lava Golem allows us to tribute our opponent's monsters in place of, or to give them that monster. It does require us to sacrifice our normal summon, so I was thinking about, you know, returning or playing Kaijus instead of the Lava Golem, but this essentially gets rid of 2 monsters, so, you know, I'm greedy. It also doesn't matter if you open the Barrage, if you Lava Golem them. 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. This is good against so many decks right now. DDD, Mermail, and Zoodiac, to name a few. The DD Crow is really good against Mermail, Zoodiac, and, you know, DDD. So these 2 cards normally go in at the same time. Next is 3 copies of Twin Twisters. Back row. In case, you know, in case the 3 copies of Gyoko isn't enough, you have your 3 Twin Twisters. 1 Raigeki, board clear. And then 2 copies of Forbidden Lance. Forbidden Lance has so many applications in this deck. But most importantly, my favorite thing is when they try to chalice your monster and you go Forbidden Lance. That just must be the ultimate salt. I really, really enjoyed this deck. To be honest with you guys, I'm like, now that I'm doing the deck profile, I'm actually tempted to play this deck. This deck is like really awesome. You guys know how much I love Fire Fist, so Fire Fist Zoodiac is very, very fun to play. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of The Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.